War Eagle, War Rapport family. I'm your host, C-Dub, and tonight we discuss Auburn versus South Carolina. We'll definitely preview that. We have a guest who will help us actually talk about the South Carolina side of things. We'll also give our predictions, and of course, we'll do our predictions about the other games in the conference as well. So you guys definitely want to hang around for that. But for now, sit back, get your weight up, because tonight we enter the war room.
You are now listening to the War Rapport. Wednesday night War Room. Brought to you by Auburn Sports.com. Ike Jones. B. Will. C. Dawe. Mike G. Let's go!
War Eagle, everyone. War Eagle. Happy Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in to the latest Wednesday Night War Room, brought to you by our friends at AuburnSports.com. You see that little logo in the right-hand corner of this screen? Those are our friends. They sponsor this show. Please be sure to head on over there and check them out for all of your information regarding recruiting and other information regarding Auburn sports. They got you covered. Also, shout out to our War Rapport family and our community. We need your help, guys. Please, if you're watching live or on replay, share this video on social media. Use hashtag #GetYourWeightUp. Help people to find us and help us to grow our community. Mike G, tell people what they need to become, sir.
I know the season's almost over, but still lots of reasons to become an insider. We've got an interesting kind of stretch here going down to the wire at the end of the season. We've got a lot of great insider content that we'll be bringing you guys. We're covering basketball, people. It is hoops season. Bruce Pearl has us 2-0 and feeling good. And Ike Jones is going to be bringing you guys some basketball breakdown. Some of that content is going to be insider only, so make sure you hang on to your insider memberships. And if you're not an insider, become one. Get access to special chats, all that good stuff. Listen, as an insider, we're giving away Iron Bowl tickets. Dum. Now, we put a little red circle and a slash here just so you don't forget that we hate Alabama and everything they stand for. And we wish they would not exist. But you can win tickets to this game. Might be a pretty epic Iron Bowl. It could still be an epic Iron Bowl because we can mess up everything that is their season with a win. So we want to send you to go see it on the War Rapport. So become an insider so you can get access to this. This is going to be insider only. Definitely, we only got 2 Iron Bowl tickets, and you can take yourself and someone you love to see what might be an epic upset this year. You guys know the drill. Hashtag Get Your Weight Up. This is brought to you courtesy of our guy, Bob Williams. He donated this. We're giving away a little woodwork here for somebody in the comments today. So hashtag Get Your Weight Up. And you can enter that. You can enter that drawing here. We'll draw at the 1 hour mark. We're a partner with the Lee County Humane Society to help save puppies. Please, you can find this link in the About section of our YouTube channel. 50 cents on every dollar goes to the Lee County Humane Society to help them in their mission to save puppies. Visit our sponsor, BUSR. BUSR.com/report. Guys, when you sign up, when you support our sponsors, you support us. Not everybody has to be an insider. You can sign up for a free account, and it helps us because they see people signing up, and then they want to stay on as a sponsor. So support us by supporting our sponsors, where you place 1 bet a year, 10 bets a year, or don't tell anybody, no bets. Just sign up for an account. Definitely helps us out. Our merch store is live. You can find this link in the About section of our YouTube channel. Great way to support our content. And then last but not least, check us out on podcasts. We're everywhere. The Wednesday Night War Room is on podcast, ready for your ears, fresh in your car while you're cutting the grass, doing other stuff. It's there.
Appreciate that, Mike G. Also appreciate you, Dorian Hurd, with the super chat. Says, I really dislike our fan base outside of the War Rapport fam, of course, but seriously, these rumors and calling for jobs getting old. too old. Yeah, there was a lot of rumors this week, but they're just that. They're just rumors. And so, of course, those things sort themselves out. And a lot of things are knee-jerk reactions from our fan base. Listen, the root fan is the root word for fanatic, and sometimes you see the best and worst of the fanaticism when it comes to Auburn and our love for Auburn. When things go wrong, some of us head towards the ledge. It is what it is, but hopefully we're back to kind of refocus. We got a lot of news. A lot of things have changed since our last show. TJ Finley is in. We received good news that Bo Nix had a successful procedure and surgery. Also the same for Anders Carlson. We wish those guys well, that they have a speedy recovery. Want to talk to you guys just to get your thoughts on where we stand right now and how you're feeling with, usually when you go 6-4, there's not a lot of excitement around the program, but a lot has changed. So with TJ Finley stepping in and the question marks on special teams, how are you feeling, Mike G, with where we are going into South Carolina?
Worried. Still worried. I was worried last week. I'm worried this week. I'm just worried. Our starting quarterback went down. That's a worry. Whenever you have to switch, a major role like that, it's a worry. Sure. The guy behind him has not gotten a ton of playing time. We have absolutely no idea how he's going to do in the role, so that worries me. Now, I think his talent ceiling is pretty high. I think he's got phenomenal arm talent, but this change is worrisome at this point in the season. So he's got to prepare. I feel a little better after his press conference today. He had an excellent presser today. He sounded confident. He was eloquent. It was a really good look for him. It seems like he's got the support of the team, which is good as well, too. So, I'm worried, but I'll wait till Saturday to see if they can calm my fears a little bit. There's still a lot to play for going into next season. And I'm worried for Finley, man. Like, listen, some guys get 20 shots. Some guys get 1 shots, and some unfortunate people get 0 shots. I feel like Finley is a 2-shot guy. He's got to go out there and play well, man. So I'm a little worried for him, in his future of football. He's just got to go out there and do his thing. This is your shot to prove you can do it. Go out there and prove it.
Ike, how you feeling, man, about the offense, special teams, just everything? Like, how you feeling, man?
I'm not worried about the special teams so much. I've heard good things about the backup kickers. What I am concerned about is, will the defense be ready to bounce back? I think if we have a good defensive performance, it doesn't matter what South Carolina does. I expect TJ Finley to try to take care of the ball, and if he doesn't press too much, we'll be fine. But if the defense plays well, we'll be in good opportunities to be able to do what we need to do. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they're able to produce in South Carolina. So, yeah, I wouldn't say I'm worried right now. Check back with me after the first 2 drives of the game, though.
I think most people have a good gauge on how they feel by that point.
Right.
B. Will, how are you, bro? How are you feeling about the news and where we are going into week 12?
I am at peace again.
Worried.
Zen
Peace.
Master B.
I need some of what you smoking.
Nothing's that big picture. What changes from this week going forward? If we went 6-6 or 8-4, our postseason, which we get a better bowl if we beat Alabama, we're 8-4. We would. But as far as, are we playing for the conference? No. Are we playing for the national championship? No. That was the pie in the sky stuff. So we missed that stuff. I am at peace because the silver lining of the QB situation is, number one, we never, ever want anybody to get hurt. We want our guys to be our guys. We want them to be on the field and available. So definitely, I don't want to say condolences to Bo. Like, we lost him. We lost him for the season in football, but he's still good. The surgery was good, so that's a blessing. So we wanted to see what TJ Finley could do. We're going to see what TJ Finley could do. And we're going to go into next season with a much clearer idea of what he can be in this offense than we would have if he did get this opportunity. So that's a silver lining in this. I'm not mad at that. The season is kind of done. Like, the season is what it is. We are more talented and better than South Carolina. So am I worried about losing this game? No. If we lose this game, then it's a different kind of piece. It's a piece of coaching search or something. Maybe not yet. It might not be a piece of. But this is the type of game that after last week's performance, I think it will be worse to lose this game after last week than it would be if we had been struggling all season and we need this to get to 6 wins and we lose it. That's terrible. But a first-year coach, if we're struggling all season, then you give him that as a first-year coach. Our highs were unpredictably high as far as what it looked like we could do a couple weeks ago. So you can't have the performance we did against Mississippi State and lose this game. And that's why I'm not worried about losing this game. So I don't think this game means too much for us, because if we are 6-6 or 7-5, I think we kind of go to the same bowl, honestly. It really doesn't mean much. What I want to see from it, I want us to win and look good doing it, for TJ's sake, for the defense's sake, for the wide receiver's sake. We saw Kobe wake up, man. I'm at peace because it looks like now that we've gotten the big picture stuff out of the way and that's not on the table, we can just focus on being really good. Like, we've had in 10 games of up, down, up, down, up, down. Hey, let's put some stuff together, man. We have still not seen a 4-quarter game in all 3 phases. Can this be the week? Like, I would be excited to see that. No matter what score that is, 4 quarters of consistent effort and polish from start to finish from all 3 phases, that would be great. I think we can get that. That's why I'm kind of like, yeah, you know what? It's all good. We're not going to lose, Mike G.
Well, we'll definitely talk about that later on. I'm just eager to see what this offense looks like with Finley in control. Does it look the same, or is it different? Does Bobo call things a little different, knowing TJ's strengths and weaknesses? You know, those are things I'm eager to see. Do we lean more on the run this week? I know Harsin wants to be a downhill rushing attack. Does he really lean in that direction this week to really keep the defense off balance? Just eager to see how we look this weekend with Finley in. So, guys, let's go ahead and get into the Week 12 preview. Let's talk about it, guys. There's a lot of games. There's a lot of cupcakes. This is kind of a light weekend for a lot of teams who aren't playing conference opponents. But let's see where we are after 11 weeks. Guess who had the best week of us all? The dude who was in last place, and he's inching up close to Ike. Mike G went 6-2. The rest of us went 5-3. That leaves us currently with me at 72-20, Mike G 69-24, B Will 75-18, Ike 70-23. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to catch B Will, but I don't know. I may have to be really aggressive this weekend next to hopefully make some ground. I thought I was going to make up some ground, but we'll see.
I got a question.
What's that?
Is championship game weekend, are we going to pick that for all conferences?
Absolutely.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Absolutely.
That's like actual competitive games that should not be easy to predict. So that should be fun.
He's on the hot seat. I'm coming.
I watching all that film. He don't know who gonna win. What's up, dog? We need to get a new film, dude.
I mean, listen, watching the film ain't got nothing to do. Listen, you tell me on the film you predicted us giving up a 23-point lead, and I'll.
Hey man, ain't nobody predict that.
Okay, all right.
Nobody
predicted watching the film ain't got nothing to do with none of that. Plus, I don't watch film on those other teams that much. I just watch us.
Yeah.
Yep. Listen, I'm going to do more crazy stuff. Wait, what was crazy about last week?
Oh, you gonna pick ULM this week
pick
against
Missouri
LSU
over South Carolina?
Don't.
You don't pick against LSU.
Yeah, nothing's off the table.
He never picks against LSU.
Yeah.
Well, the one time he did, they won. So
Nothing's off the table. So
Go full heel, Mike. Full heel.
wait, I didn't make picks.
What do you mean?
You didn't look at these ahead of time and make picks?
No, wait. Time out. I'm confused. We're making picks tonight, right? We're making
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
This
yeah.
is what this is. This
I
is
was thinking I wasn't on the
this is
show
where we
Sunday,
are.
and so I was like, wait, did I make picks?
We haven't done them yet.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right.
Today's
Still time
been-
for crazy. Still time for crazy.
Well, I don't know how much crazy you're going to find in some of these early games. Let's go ahead and get them out the way. Tennessee State goes to Mississippi State. How close to 100 does Mississippi State get?
They're going to
How
score
close?
at least 50. I think they'll score at least 50.
They're going to get to half a hundy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go that route too. I'm going Mississippi State.
Well, so it just depends. It depends on how bad they're beating him in the first half. If they pull Will Rogers and he doesn't play the entire second half, I don't know, but they're going to beat him pretty badly.
Yeah, I don't think he plays the second half. I mean, if he does anything like he did last week, I don't foresee him playing much in the second half, if at all. We're moving on. Prairie View A&M.
Yep.
Wow. At Texas A&M.
Well, they should win this one. I mean,
Yeah.
Prairie View.
yeah. That should be a lock, right? Upset of the century. Texas A&M. Texas
Yeah.
A&M.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a
Another
boring
beat.
one.
Another beat down of epic proportions coming up. Charleston Southern.
Oh my God.
Sacrificial lamb goes in to Athens to play number 1 Georgia. Let's hear it, guys.
Yeah. GA Bulldogs.
Georgia.
Okay.
Bulldogs.
All right.
Bulldogs. Uneventful.
Hey, listen, hold on. Let's pause to acknowledge
Is this Cupcake Week?
this is for everybody except for us. Yes. But yeah, let's pause to acknowledge we said. All right, you know,
Caesar tried to
it
speed
was- we-
past us.
we
We were like,
we didn't know it was gonna be that interesting, but
They were up by 7 points at halftime. It's like
Crazy.
42-35.
crazy.
Something like that. Something like that. That
How
was
you give up 42 in one half to Samford, bro?
Those players actually like their defensive coordinator, and it showed. And they didn't appreciate him getting rid of the guy that they liked and had played for a couple years just to save his own skin. That's what it looked like.
And it ain't gonna work.
Yikes. All right. We know what's going to happen against Georgia. New Mexico State at Kentucky.
Is this a spread for real?
Yeah.
36
Yeah, I mean
point
Kentucky,
favorite?
but
Dude, what do y'all think about this line? This is what I'm
Yeah,
they're not
yeah.
gonna win by 36, but they're gonna win.
Interesting. It's an interesting spread. B, what say you, betting expert? Is this crazy? Is this a crazy line?
This is not crazy because New Mexico State is really bad. They're really bad. They are a
I just
punching
don't know
bag.
how many points Kentucky is going to score. That's my bigger thing. It's not that I think New Mexico State's going to do much. Like, how many points is Kentucky going to actually put up in this game?
I mean, that's fair. Kentucky can shoot themselves in the foot. They are 100% capable of that. So, yeah, it's possible that they do not cover.
This was the same team that struggled with Chattanooga, right?
They turned the ball over 4 times and beat Chattanooga by 1 touchdown. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they cover, but I definitely got Kentucky winning
Kentucky.
this.
Yeah, they're going to win.
La Monroe goes on the road against LSU.
LSU.
Do they cover?
That's a good question. I think LSU has enough offense to maybe cover. I don't
think
know
they do.
enough about Louisiana Monroe to know whether or not they can score because LSU's defense shows up when they want to. But I just don't think from a talent perspective, Louisiana Monroe should be in this game at all. So
Didn't Louisiana Monroe upset Liberty this year? Or was that somebody else they upset?
ULM.
Yeah, they got beat up first game by Kentucky, and that's where Bowden and Rich Rod are.
Yeah,
And
they,
we said
they
they
did beat
too.
Liberty. They did beat
Okay,
Liberty.
that's what I thought.
31,
So
28.
they've gotten better over the course of the year. LSU's defense, honestly, surprisingly, their defense got better over the course of the
they have gotten better over the course of the year. I'll agree with that.
that was a big surprise to me. But I think that makes a chance for this game to actually be closer. Who's LSU's last game of the season?
Last game of the
Them.
season.
It's always
A&M?
Arkansas, isn't it?
Is it
No,
Arkansas?
they already played.
Texas
They played
A&M.
Arkansas
Texas
last
A&M.
weekend.
Yeah.
It's A&M.
Yeah.
Okay, so I absolutely think they could be saving all the smoke for A&M, game prepping early, sleep through UL Monroe a little bit, and just win by like 27. I think that's completely possible. I'm not saying I commit to it, but it's possible.
Okay. Either way, we all got LSU in this game, obviously. Next game, South Alabama goes to Knoxville. I got
Tennessee.
Yeah.
I got Tennessee. What you
Listen,
got, Mike?
And a side conversation about this: did Tennessee score the most points on Georgia of any team so far this season?
Yes.
Yes.
I think they did. And they actually looked pretty good for like a quarter and a half. I was like, is this a game for real?
It was
And then
10-10, wasn't it?
I thought they were up. They were leading in this game at some point.
At some point, yeah. I mean, we were leading. We scored 3-0 on Georgia. I don't think that matters
Oh,
much.
okay. I mean, they were like, yeah, it was 10-7 in the first quarter. So they scored a touchdown and field goal in the first quarter. I've been impressed with Hendon Hooker, man. I mean,
He's definitely the right guy for that system.
Yeah.
Not sure how he lost that job to start the season.
I was just sitting here thinking, what did you see in camp that made you think Joe Milton needed to be your starting quarterback?
Yeah, well,
I ain't hype him.
according to some of our fans, you can't ever get that wrong because the coaches see him in practice. And right.
He must know.
So he must have known because he sees every practice. So they knew the other guy was better, right?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Hendon Hooker looks good, right? And
he does.
he's played well, and he seems to be the right fit for Heupel's system.
Right.
But I've been impressed. I mean, this is not a bad debut season for Heupel, given the mess that he took over.
No, it's been amazing giving the mess that he took over in Tennessee.
Yeah, for sure.
For the fact that they are competitive in most games, absent of maybe the first, but since they got the right QB in there.
Right.
Props to Heupel for turning that program around. So yeah, they're gonna win, but screw them.
Vandy.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. Yep. No suspense. Are we in agreement on all these? I don't like it.
I mean, there's not been a good game.
I mean,
yet.
this
There's
is
only
just a
2
really-
games on the schedule this week that are even debatable.
You mean
and one of
this
them
one?
is
You mean this one?
Hey, man, listen.
Right.
You mean
this is a
this
debatable
one?
game.
This is the one. This is the spicy one. This is spicy.
picking the
ESPN
upset
really
is the
like
question.
Florida.
That's because
Football Power
Missouri's
in
defense is so awful.
But Florida's defense is now awful.
yeah.
I think they quit on
Do you
them, man.
do you
I
think they
quit.
just took an off week? They was like,
We're
we're gonna
ca-
boycott 1 week and they're gonna come back and play well, or do you think this is an omen for the remainder of their season that they're just done?
I'm just calling them Floria for the rest of the season. Because what's the point of putting a D in their name? They have no D. They have none at all. I'm calling them Floria.
I think they quit on Mullen and they're trying to get rid of him. Full conspiracy. Where's my tinfoil hat? I need a tinfoil aluminum foil War Rapport hat. A beanie. I need a tinfoil aluminum beanie War Rapport so I can spout my ridiculous theories. I think they are sabotaging Mullen because that's definitely what it looked like last week. So I'm thinking, why stop there? He didn't get fired last week. Let's keep it going.
You have to on purpose let Sanford score 42 points.
42 and
you
a
have to do
half,
that.
bro.
Like you don't accidentally let them score like that. You have to. You definitely have to, like, there's some intentionality to that. Like, we're sticking it to you, coach. Like, I don't know. That's an interesting line as well. What you got, Mike?
It is. You know what? Now I want to hear what y'all gonna do.
That's how that works.
Yes, absolutely. I'm losing, so I get the luxury.
No, you
Going
don't.
last. That's how that works.
I'm going Missouri here.
Interesting.
I'm going Missouri. I'm going Missouri. I just feel like you play that bad at home and you're going on the road with a team that I would like to think has a better offense than Sanford.
I mean, I've never seen Sanford. I hadn't seen Sanford play, so I don't know if they've got a better offense, but I would hope they would have at least better talent. So
Okay, so Isaac.
what's up? No, I'm picking Florida.
Missouri, let's go.
Missouri.
Oh, he's trying to pick a opposite of what I picked so he can try to gain ground.
Yeah,
I was
that's right.
honestly.
So
I was
everybody
like,
picked Missouri?
I
Dang
want to
it.
pick Missouri, but I was like, no, I want C to go first because he's the closest to me.
Yeah, see,
So if I got that
see?
wrong, that was
So,
going
so
to be
Mike has a
That's okay.
chance to catch me now if I miss on this one.
Yes, that's right. Missouri. No
Okay,
logic.
So we
no
so
logic.
we got three. No, of course not.
This
Well,
is
we got a little
logical.
bit,
What are you
little bit of
talking
logic,
about?
little bit of logic.
They
It's
just
a little
gave
bit of
up
logic.
56 points to an FCS school. How is this not
I-
logical?
At home.
I'm not saying it's not
At home.
logical. I'm just saying I'm not using the logic.
Okay.
right.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
It just happens to apply. Well, I'm not using it.
I digress then. So three Mizzous and 1 Florida. All right.
I'm going Florida.
All righty. Number 21 Arkansas on the road against Bama. I'm going Bama. I'm going Bama.
Is there a chance that Arkansas can make this interesting?
For
Should
sure.
be. Yep.
They can for sure make it interesting. I just don't know that their defense is there anymore.
Is KJ
to that
Jefferson-
level? I mean,
Is KJ Jefferson a better quarterback than Calzada?
Yes. He's more effective.
I would say
Yeah.
overall, I would take
yeah.
Jefferson over Calzada. Yeah, just because of the running ability.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's like Calzada's got a better arm easily.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
Sure.
KJ Jefferson has a big arm, and the running ability I think gives him the edge at just pure playmaking.
How many points does Arkansas have to win in this one to pull off the upset?
Ooh, good question. They're
I
gonna have to
don't
score
know,
over
man.
30.
Bama just couldn't get over 20 against LSU, and even though their defense is better,
say,
they only scored 14, which means they were getting the ball all night.
Yeah, I'm saying. I mean, can we just offhand dismiss last week's Bama performance versus LSU versus one of the worst defenses in our league? I know y'all said they were getting better as the year is going on.
No, they played. They didn't. They played. They had a
New Mexico
cupcake last
State.
weekend.
Oh,
They had a-
yeah.
they had a
Well, you know.
cupcake. But 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, yeah. Is it time to just write that off? 14-20 was that score.
I'm not willing to write that off. I saw them struggle against Florida. I saw them really they've taken some time to get going in most games against SEC competition. At least the one game where they came out with their hair on fire, really, and it was after their loss, was Mississippi State. They were clicking on all cylinders. That was their best game of the season. And I think that's the aberration. I don't think that's the norm. I think that's the aberration. I think who they were against Florida, LSU, they took some time to get going against A&M. I think that's who they are, man. You can their O-line's too leaky. You can get to them. You can affect them enough to hold them down for a large part of the game. Whether Arkansas has the horses to do that, I do not know. But Bama's defense isn't that great either, so I would give them a shot. I would pick Arkansas to cover.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm going to pick Bama, but I like Arkansas to cover. For sure.
Fair enough. I'm with y'all on that.
Yeah, that's how I feel. But I'm going to go on record, though, as saying that if this happened to be an upset, I would not be surprised.
Right.
Yeah, I would not be surprised just based on how Bama has looked so far. I'm just not really ready to call it. I'm close. I want to switch my pick right now.
I thought you was gonna get crazy today. I thought what
Yeah, I was
happened to
about
the
to say, you ain't
crazy,
heard- I
Mike?
ain't
You've been
seen
kind of
nothing
you've been a little
crazy yet.
conservative. Mike.
Can I come back at the end of the show and switch this?
No,
Oh,
that's
man,
not how
all
that
right.
works.
This is the time. Right?
Yeah, this is it.
All right. I'm sticking with Bama. I'm sticking with Bama.
times we all win.
Okay. All right. All right. Well,
I think I'm going to pick.
what you doing, B? What you got, B? What you doing?
We know who these teams are.
Yeah, it
know
says it
who
right
these
there on the
teams
screen.
Woo Pig Suey? Are you gonna woo Pig Suey for me, boy? Come on, man. Let me spot me one. I need one. I need this.
I'm going to pick Bama, man.
He's gonna
I'm going to pick Bama.
Playing it safe. Playing it
It would
safe.
be it would be much more delicious to beat Bama next week if they
I
have
would
only
say
lost
so.
one game.
I would agree.
That would
agree.
eliminate them from playoff contention, I think.
Pretty sure it would. Even if they went on to win in Atlanta, I don't think they make the playoff with 2 losses.
Not to the teams
Considering who they lost to.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the difference.
I mean,
Yeah,
with 2
so-
losses, they wouldn't even go to Atlanta unless Texas A&M fumbled again.
No,
right?
Texas A&M lost
Oh,
their
that's
third
right. They
game.
lost.
They lost
Oh,
third.
Miss,
Yeah.
trash.
Sure.
They're
Yep.
pretty much a lot.
Yep. Yeah, it's over.
Where's my table I can flip over, man?
telling you, man, it's been a rough couple of weeks, man. Just that realization. Listen, B, got a question. If I had picked Florida, what would you have done? I just want to know. Just curious.
I was still thinking I'm gonna pick Mizzou no matter what. I'm not gonna lie to you.
All right.
Can you really have confidence in the team that looked like that last week?
I have no
I
confidence.
don't have confidence in either team.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're asking me, is that a confident pick? I picked Florida just because I
Not
flipped the
even.
coin over here.
Not even. It's just the eye test. Both of them look like, but it's just I just going with Mizzou. Just there's just turmoil over there. Anyways, guys, if you're watching replay or live, let us know your thoughts. You see any upsets on the schedule? Let us know in the comment section. This is a reminder that you are watching the Wednesday Night War Room. We pause to acknowledge the sponsors of the War Rapport.
The War Report's Wednesday Night War Room is brought to you by our generous sponsors. AuburnSports.com. For news and notes on all things Auburn sports, head over to AuburnSports.com. Our betting partner, BUSR. Bet with confidence at BUSR.com/report. University Ace Hardware, located at 2101 East University Drive in Auburn, Alabama, right across the street from the Auburn Mall and next to the movie theater. For all of your hardware needs, Ace is the place. And our giveaway sponsor, GWT2 Energy. If you want the best in the business at restaurant logistics, check out our friends at GWT2Energy.com.
Become an insider. You should definitely do this. This is your favorite thing to do. Trust me. Just trust me, bro. You want to be an insider. $5.99 a month. Join one of the best, kind of most exclusive clubs in Auburn football right now on the internet. We're doing some great things. We're bringing you guys some great content. You definitely want to become an insider because we're giving away tickets to the Iron Bowl to insiders. Now, I talked to the man above. He said the weather for this is going to be pristine. It's going to be perfect. It's going to be perfect Iron Bowl weather, and you can go enjoy it on the War Rapport. If you're an insider, we're going to announce that winner quickly, so you have time to plan if you win the tickets. We're giving away some fine-looking artwork here. This comes courtesy of our guy, Bob Williams. He donated some woodwork. So hashtag get your weight up in the comments, and you will get a chance to win. We're going to draw at the 1 hour mark. We are partnered with the Lee County Humane Society to raise money for a good cause. You guys know us, man. We always care about the puppies. This is the good that we've decided to put back into the world. You can find this link in the About section of our YouTube channel. 50 cents on every dollar goes to the Lee County Humane Society to help them save puppies. So help us help them. Donate today. Another shout out to our sponsor, BUSR. BUSR.com/rapport. Guys, support us by supporting our sponsors. Go and just signing up for our account helps us out. So if you want to go there and just look at lines, if you place 1 bet a year or 10 bets a year, BUSR.com/rapport. We might run some promos here for guys who go over there and sign up in the future. So again, this is a great way to support our content. If you can't become an insider, you can just sign up for a free account and help us out. Our merch store is live. If you don't win any of this free merch we're giving away, you can just go to the merch store and buy some. This link is also in the About section of our YouTube channel. Last but not least, we're on podcasts. Check the War Rapport out on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Podbean, anything you listen to podcasts on, we're there. And downloads are increasing every month, so we appreciate you guys who go over to podcasts and listen to the Wednesday Night War Room.
Thank you, sir. Guys, let's get to it. Let's talk about it. The matchup is coming up this weekend. It features Auburn, who's now unranked, going on the road against South Carolina. That, of course, will be a night game on ESPN. The line favors Auburn, 7.5 point favorite. The over and under is 44.5. Football Power Index is favoring Auburn 76%. Series history, Auburn actually leads 10-2, and actually there's a tie in the series. And, of course, we know what happened last year when these two teams met up again in South Carolina and Columbia. South Carolina 30, Auburn 22. Tough day for the good guys, but let's see what happens this weekend. Now, joining us, we have a special guest, Coach Dick Cox of Cox Sports Broadcasting. He's also featured on the Coach's Corner Sports Talk Show. He's a sports journalist and a writer for Lindy's Sports. Coach Dick, how are you doing, man?
Doing well. How about you guys?
Doing well, man. We appreciate you joining us. Kind of tell us, just in your opinion, man, what has been your assessment of Shane Beamer and the job he's done so far this year at South Carolina?
I think he's done a good job. A lot of people don't realize that the things he's going through. South Carolina's playing with 79 scholarship players this year. They're down to their third string quarterback now having to start, and somehow have won 5 ball games. And the talent level is not that good right now, that he is having a good recruiting year right now, trying to bring in the talent, though. But I think, a lot of people just expected him to come in and just pull some kind of miracle out, when a lot of people didn't think that he'd win 2 to 3 games. But for them to be in position now to win 1 out of the last 2 when you go to a bowl, that's unheard of for him, though. But he's changed the culture. He's got the students love him down there. The players love him. And again, I think he's doing the right things. He just needs a little time.
How is the recruits in the area responded to him as opposed to the previous coach?
Well, that he's having a good year recruiting. He's getting the top end. Surprisingly, the top end state players are, a lot of them have committed to him rather than Clemson. And then too, that he's been able to reach out with some of the kids when he was an assistant coach and recruiting when he was at Oklahoma, that he's now gotten them interested in coming to South Carolina, though. But he's doing the right things. When he was at South Carolina before as an assistant to Steve Spurrier, he was the recruiting coordinator along with being an assistant coach, and he's the one that brought in Jadavian Clowney, Marcus Lattimore, Stephon Gilmore, and all those guys. So he's got a great record of his first appearance at South Carolina in his recruiting.
Yeah, those were some horses he brought in then.
I wish they'd come back. They could
sure.
definitely use them. But the thing too, in coming back, that he's got the guys like that, Stephon Gilmore, and these players that are committed to the program. They are supporting him, and he's got the former players that were star players back then behind him, backing him, and they're even kind of encouraging some of these recruits too, that send them emails or whatever, things like that, though. But all the big stars that were there when he was there as his assistant are backing him 100%, which is going to help him in his recruiting efforts.
Good deal. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's talk about the matchup. B, can you, if you would, do you have South Carolina's offense first?
I don't, but I can switch it around real quick, and throw that.
Because people going to talk about the offense. So last, so let's talk about South Carolina and Coach. Listen, talk to me about, because there was a lot was made of Kevin Harris, a lot of the running attack. Of course, he had a really good season last year, but when I look at the offensive line. Our offensive line has been much maligned this year, but I think when you look at what South Carolina has been through this season, and I look at how they've been grading out, it's been kind of tough in run blocking and pass pro with this offensive line. Can you talk about some of the strengths and weaknesses along the O-line as it pertains to how they match up with our defense?
Well, the offensive line has been probably the most disappointing group on South Carolina's team this year. With all of the things that have happened and gone through with them, the offense at times has not been productive. You had Kevin Harris coming in as a preseason all-SEC running back, right. and a lot of reasons. It's not just the offensive line, but I think that they're rotating the backs around there. Yeah. But, the offensive line may get a worse rap than they were thinking. Because I talked to Jason Brown after the game with Missouri and asked him about the play where the guy came off the end untouched and he got sacked and fumbled for a touchdown, which ended up being the difference in the game in the Missouri game. And he said, that was my fault. He said, I didn't call the right formation there. So the offensive line has looked bad. But I think with you going through 3 quarterbacks and a new blocking system and all like that, and then he had even admitted on that one that had he called the right formation, they had a screen pass set up, and Missouri sold out where it may have gone all the way. But their best offensive lineman is Dylan Wanham, who has been hurt, and he played one of the tackle positions though. But again, they've had to shift a lot of linemen around. But I think, something that's a big difference, too, of why Kevin Harris is not putting up the big numbers like last year, because Mike Bobo, who is the offensive coordinator with you guys now, used a old-fashioned fullback. And Harris doesn't have that fullback leading him through the hole this year to get him 1,100-plus yards that he's having to do it on his own. So, therefore, the line may, not be as bad there, but they don't have that fullback on the lead blocking on the run game anymore.
And it also seems as though under this coaching staff, they're using a running back by committee, because I've seen that I think your lead rusher is actually Zaquandre White, who actually I've seen him in a few games. He likes to run through the tackles. He's a pretty physical back. Talk about how he complements Kevin Harris in the backfield.
Well, this is a guy who had a great spring. Had over 100 yards and a couple of touchdowns in the spring game. When Harris was hurt, Harris had back surgery, and so he kind of caught the coach's eyes then, though. But he's the kind of guy, he runs. Last year he couldn't get on the field because he fumbled about every time he got the ball, and just had a serious problem with that. But, he is a guy who can catch it out of the backfield. He's a guy who's going to give you that second and third effort, though. But he's an entirely style-wise different back from Kevin Harris. I think, Harris's biggest problem is they are alternating the backs around that maybe won this series, won the next series, won the following series, that I don't think Harris is even getting close to getting a feel for the running game. Mm-hmm. It's hard for him to get going because he's shown some flashes of last year when he's got to carry the ball 10 times, though. But with the way it is right now, he may, carry it 3 or 4 times in a possession, and it may be 2 to 3 possessions before he gets back in the game again. So I'm kind of wondering about with their 3-back rotation. The other guy is Marshawn Lloyd, who was a 5-star recruit. And it was kind of interesting that when Lloyd signed with South Carolina, Tank Bigsby was already committed to South Carolina. Then he decommitted and went to Auburn. But there was a talk one time that we may have had Lloyd and Auburn both, but it was after Lloyd officially signed, then Tank went to Auburn instead.
Here's a question from the chat that I think is interesting.
Yeah, I saw that too.
In South Carolina, miss Mike Bobo calling plays.
Oh my God, you starting stuff.
It's an interesting question.
It's a good question, and I would say right now that Marcus Satterfield has had the fans have been wanting to run him out of town. The guy hadn't even been there a whole year, but the offense is not put up.
Wait a minute. Wait. You mean fans want to run coordinators out of town before a full year is over with? That doesn't just happen in Auburn?
No, they're wanting to run him out, and they're wanting to fire the athletic
swears that we
director.
have the worst fans in the country because
No,
people overreact to stuff. Okay, all right.
Up the road in South Carolina, we're the same way, though. But,
it's literally like that everywhere. They want to fire the offensive coordinator at Bama this year. They want to fire anybody. Anytime someone comes in new and it doesn't look like the old person, everybody wants them gone. It happens all the time.
Well, it's interesting, too. The South Carolina fans right now are still mad at Bobo because Beamer tried to get him to stay on as offensive coordinator here, and then he left. And then on top of that, not only did he leave, but he took our new offensive line coach, Will French, with him. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Friend was at South Carolina. That's right.
So it's kind of interesting here, too, that there's a little rivalry there, even though it's not a rivalry. But the Gamecock fans don't like Auburn because Tank Bigsby went to y'all and left us, and then Bobo leaves us and takes his friend, the offensive line coach. So there'll be some interesting
Wasn't
reactions.
Tracy Rocker initially going to go be at South Carolina as well?
He
was there last season under.
He was
No,
he was there.
he left too. He left
Yeah.
there. Yeah, he left South Carolina as well.
Yep, he did. So
I forgot about that.
well, it was. I think Beamer only kept one coach. That was Mike Peterson, one of the linebacker coaches. But he had to go out and get a whole new staff. And the thing was, as quick as he'd hired somebody, then Auburn took him away. So y'all were
funny.
Auburn probably will not be real welcome when they come to Columbia.
Harrison was
I
like,
was about to
"Ooh,
say,
South Carolina
are
likes
fans
them?"
going to be really getting up for this game? I'm assuming.
They will, because Beamer's got them back. I mean, he's doing a lot of PR work, and they will turn out. When it's a Saturday night in Willie B, as they call it, then the students will be rocking, and they're anticipating a big crowd, vocal crowd that he's encouraging. But it should be a great atmosphere for Saturday night's game.
I have a question about Beamer.
Okay.
Because I watched his presser this week, and I got to tell you, he's got a real, he's very friendly with your media.
Yes, he is. And that's
yeah,
just the opposite of Muschamp. Muschamp
Correct.
hated the media. But so this is different. But
don't think
he
likes
brought the
Muschamp
golf
either,
tournament back for the media, that it was birdies with Beamer. And, he's very personable, that he will call your name, and answer your questions. And he's always friendly, though. But he is everybody's friend in Columbia now.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, he complimented a guy's haircut to open up the press conference. And how is that kind of style, that kind of character personality resonating with the people around South Carolina? Is it welcome? Do people feel like it's too silly? What is the feeling about seriousness around football when it comes to Beamer?
Well, Lord, if you want silly, go up the street and look at Dawe. That's bad enough if you want to see a clown up there coaching. Though. But Beamer,
that's funny.
You cannot call him silly when Dabo Sweeney's 90 miles up the road.
That's fair.
And that's silly.
That's hilarious.
But he has made
Great answer.
He has got great fan support right now. And again, he's doing all the right things with the kids. Being a former coach, I was a college and high school coach for 37 years. I don't think I would go up and jump in the arms of a player and count on them catching me and hug them like that. I think I'd give him a high five, but he is just real enthusiastic about every play. He did that one time to one of their better players and almost injured him, knocked him down on the sidelines, though. But he's doing the right things. He's got a positive outlook. His coaches have got that, and he's built a family atmosphere, which that is something. He's built something similar to what Clemson's been very successful with up the road. When they were all in, well, guess what? They ain't all in anymore now. Everybody's transferring the transfer portal now that they've lost a few games up there. But he's built that kind of family atmosphere, not only within the team, but within, the Gamecock fan base too.
I do have one before we get to talk about Auburn's offense versus South Carolina's defense. I do want to ask a question in terms of the receiving core. You have a guy, Josh Vann. I think he's your leading receiver on offense for you guys. He's able to take. I've seen him in a few games. He's able to take the top off of defenses, get behind the defense. Auburn had a tough time with Mississippi State. I know South Carolina isn't Mississippi State. But in your opinion, what do you think Satterfield is going to try to do against this defense? And does he try to use Josh Vann as part of his game plan?
I think Josh Vann will be their number one target and number one prospect right now, though. They have used a player, Jakeem Bell, who is a tight end, is a very athletic guy that they found ways to get him the ball too. But that's going to be the main playmaker on offense with him. And it's kind of interesting with Jason Brown, the quarterback, third-string quarterback, like we're talking about. This guy, the quarterback situation this year has been a Disney movie story. When you started out with the quarterback with Luke Doty, who was going to be the starter, he gets hurt 2 weeks before the beginning of the season. Well, lo and behold, they already had a graduate assistant who had played at Iowa State in another school, who was an offensive graduate assistant. He still had a year eligibility left. So they put him in a jersey, got him back out there, and he starts the first couple of weeks and leads them to victory. And again, this guy grew up 7 miles away from from Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia. And then he gets to start that game when his dream was always playing in the SEC and all. And then he gets hurt. And then lo and behold, Dawe comes back, and then he gets hurt. And now this guy, Jason Brown, who's a starter right here, he played in a little small school. I call it Division II school up in Pennsylvania, that they never had more than 2,000 fans at the game. And he's got his big E.J. Jenkins, 6'7" receiver who's been his teammate from high school comes in with him. And they come up there. But, this guy, was interesting that he'd always played in a system where you signal the play in from the sidelines. So he had to learn how to talk in the huddle. That he'd never taken a command of the huddle because every place he'd ever played was a no-huddle offense. So South Carolina is kind of interesting with their offense and all. It's been a circus, and it's been amazing that they've won 5 ball games this year.
Well, listen, let's go ahead and flip it, B. Let's talk about our offense versus the South Carolina defense. Now, this is pretty intriguing because South Carolina actually boasts they're ranked number 14th in the nation in pass defense. They're allowing 185 yards through the air per game. They ranked in the top 10 in passes intercepted with 14 up until this point, if I'm looking at that correctly. They are a little vulnerable towards the run. They give up 169 rush yards per game. But you got some guys on that side of the ball that makes me a little concerned with all the changes we got on our offense. Talk to me about, I believe his name is Kingsley. He's playing that buck position or that end position. He already, up until this point, he has 39 total tackles, 4 sacks, 13 hits, and a few hurries on quarterback. So he's been very disruptive on defense. Talk about him.
He is a player that right now all the pro scouts are projecting him as the number 5 rush in the nation. Said he will definitely be a first round draft choice. I think he was either tied or led the SEC last year in sacks and all, but he's kind of the guy, the emotional leader and leader of this team. Coming back in this year that was one thing the fans were glad to see him come back for one more year, but his stock has gone up, and he's got the defensive line that South Carolina's got this year with him and Pickens, and then you got Bunch, who was a top number 1 or number 2 recruits in the nation a couple of years ago. They have got a good defensive line, and Clayton White, the defensive coordinator, I think's done a great job with this defense. They still got some positions. They lost a linebacker for the year, but they've got DeMonte Staley. That's Deuce Staley that coaches with the Eagles. That's his son playing in there, and Deuce played at South Carolina. But they've got some guys. The defense has been a pleasant surprise this year. They've got Jalen Foster back there in the secondary. I think is one of the leaders in the nation in interceptions this year. But South Carolina's defense is exactly, when you think of Beamer ball, you think of special teams and defenses that can force turnovers. They've done exactly what South Carolina wanted them to do this year.
And speaking of turnovers, you got some guys in the secondary, one who appears to be a ball hawk. You have Cam Smith, who has 2 touchdowns, 7 pass breakups this year, but Jalen Foster, is that correct? He has 5 interceptions on the season so far?
He does. And this is a kid that came from my hometown that actually enrolled at a little school called Gardner Webb. I don't know if y'all ever heard of Gardner Webb before.
I have heard of
but
it. Yeah.
He transferred from Gardner Webb to South Carolina, and basically first 3 years and all there that he was nothing more than a scout team player. But he's turned out with, the guy back there at free safety making all the big plays in the secondary. And then you've got another guy, Cam Smith, who plays one of the corners right now, who's really had a lot of success here this year too, as far as getting in there with the turnovers and interceptions.
So are they a pretty aggressive team as far as like blitzing and such, or are they just relying on that front 4 that you're talking about to give the pressure?
They mix it up. They'll blitz and come with the corners and do a lot of different things. But one thing that you guys will probably be interested in seeing, that T.J. Finley played against South Carolina last year it was his first start at LSU. Right. And I swear South Carolina made him look like a Heisman Trophy candidate. That he ate their lunch upside and down.
Yeah.
That
Had a great game.
Horn, who's playing right now with the Carolina Panthers, he made them look like made him look like toast. And along with the other defensive back last year, I think who was drafted by the Cowboys though, but Finley just annihilated them last year. So I'm sure when he looked at, hey, this is going to be starting position for me now. Last time I started against these guys, that I'm sure he's been salivating all week at another chance at this defense.
I'm sure that defense conversely is feeling like we need to get some retribution for how he performed against us last year.
Yeah, I have a question about what their defensive strategy is going to be, right? So far, the formula this year for defending Auburn has stop the run, force them to throw a bunch, hope the quarterback can't beat you. Do you, in your opinion, does Carolina have the horses up front to force Auburn to throw the ball in this game, possibly? Or, are they going to be able to just line up and run it at will?
I think that they're going to concentrate on trying to stop Bixby this week and make Finley beat them through the air. That's what they were doing. I mean, they loaded up against Florida, and Florida couldn't do anything on offense and pretty much shut them down. They came in with the philosophy and game plan in that game and Florida hit on a couple of long passes early in the ball game, but they shut down the quarterback and the running backs of Florida. I think, held them to less than 100 yards rushing among the whole team. So I think that's going to be their strategy, is to try to take away Bixby in the running game and make Finley beat them through the air.
So, guys, love it. What Mike G, B Will, how are you feeling? It's interesting with Bo, and we've seen him able to continue to punish defenses that are giving him throws. With Finley in the game, what do we anticipate Bobo doing with him, given it's his first start on the road? What do we anticipate here?
Yeah, I know what I want him to do.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just don't know if he's going to do it.
Yeah.
So, he's got to give Finley quick throw. He's not as fleet of foot.
Right.
So you've got to give him quick, easy throws, and then Finley has to be accurate. And that's really what it boils down to. I don't expect South Carolina to give him all day to throw the ball.
Right.
Or at least try not to.
Yeah.
So Finley's just got to – I mean, it's real simple against this team. Finley's got to show that he can just got to prove that he can be accurate with the football and hit them. And not always like 15, 20 yards down the field, though. Some of those 4 and 5 yard throws, if you could just be accurate and clip them 5 yards at a time, that'll do the job, right? Until they start to creep, and then you hand the ball to your running backs. So
yeah. I mean, this is going to look more like what you would expect from a Mike Bobo offense, just because he doesn't typically have quarterbacks that are going to be as athletic and as mobile as Bo Nix is. So you're not going to probably have as many designed runs or even rollouts happening. Right. So that means the offensive line just really needs to be prepared to deal with those blitzes, and TJ Finley needs to have a good rapport with those receivers to know where to throw hot off of that stuff when it's coming, and like you said, protect the football. If he protects the football, I think we're okay. But if they're out there, how many interceptions? Both threw 2 interceptions last year against South Carolina.
Either 2 or 3, at least 2. I'm thinking maybe 3.
I would say at least 2.
If we have a repeat performance like that, where TJ is turning the ball over multiple times, we can't win this game, I don't think.
Ike, you talked about in the past opponents, we kind of struggled with blitz pickups. Mm-hmm. How important? I mean, obviously that's important here, but with a new quarterback, how critical is that in terms of communicating before pre-snap, seeing the defense and recognition of what the defense is doing?
So there's 2 things that that's going to have to happen in this game. Nick Brahms is going to have the game of his career, right? Because he is the guy that needs to be able to make sure they're calling out the right protections in case, for whatever reason, TJ doesn't see it. He needs to make sure everybody's on the right page and being able to pick up those protections. And then number 2, on obvious passing downs, he's going to have likely Shivers in there. And Shivers is the best blocking back that we have and also a really good outlet. So they're just going to have to make sure that they're doing a good job of picking up those blitzes, because if they're going to be coming from a lot of different places, you're not just going to get comfortable understanding who's coming and who's not. And then the last part is going to be the consistency at wide receiver. To just you're going to have to make some contested catches. You're going to have to make some catches where it's coming in hot because he's going to have to throw it hot, and just make something out of it when you do get that opportunity.
Yeah, listen, they got to protect Finley because we're one injury away from a disaster. Grant Loy is the QB2 for this game. And that's absolutely something that can't happen in this one. So if you want to see a disaster, we've got to keep Finley upright, man. They've got to explain to him, listen, there are no 14-point plays or throws in the playbook.
Right.
Sometimes take a sack, live to see another down, get up and make the next throw should be the strategy. I just don't want to see him press.
Yeah.
He don't try to win don't try to win next year's starting job every play. Right.
One thing I think is interesting there too is that I think that Bobo's going to come up with a great game plan, because he knows South Carolina's defensive weaknesses. He saw them every day in practice last year.
Right.
Yeah, they're running a different scheme. And on top of that too, he knows what Finley did to South Carolina last year, his strong points against South Carolina's personnel, because he witnessed it last year at LSU and knows what Finley could do well against the personnel of South Carolina. So I think he's going to come up with a good game plan.
Listen, before we get to the drawing, Todd Jordan, I did see your question. He's asking you, Coach, in Columbia, what's the best place to eat? Lizard's Thicket, Russian to Rush's, or Hudson's Barbecue? Is it any of those three, or can you think of one that's better than those three?
I'll give him one right off the bat that I eat at all the time down there, California Dreamin'. That it's right down there, just about a block away from the Colonial Life Center, though. But the marinated sirloin is a lip-licking luxury, though. But if you have to go for one of those he's got out there, Lizard's Thicket is a home-cooked meal with home-cooked vegetables and good things, so you can't go wrong with either one of those.
Okay, cool. Well, there you go, Todd. If you're in the area, you got some choices there. So we also got some choices with this drawing as well. So is it time, guys?
Let's do it.
Yeah,
All right.
95 people, that's it.
We're almost at 100. 5 more. I'll give you guys.
Hashtag get your weight up in the comments.
20
guys.
more seconds to get your entry in here. If you don't know what you're in the drawing for, it is this lovely piece of art, courtesy of our man Bob Williams. Free giveaway of some great artwork. War Rapport right there on the back. 2021. It's beautiful, man.
It is nice.
Something to hang up in your man cave. Whatever you want to do with it. I don't know, but you have. Oh, no time. I'm gonna hit the thing now. Let's do it. Who? It's over. Who's gonna be our winner today?
Jazzy Joe.
Gonna be
Scott C. There we go.
Congrats.
Scott C., you are the winner. Make sure you drop your name here in the comments before we get out of here to claim your prize. And if not, then we will draw again here in just a minute.
We've already started.
It's always fun, man. I like seeing it.
Come on, Scott. Don't let us down.
Stephen Nash here, Super Chat. I don't think Harsin wants to show what Davis can do too early. Is he that much of a chess player? Is this why it's Loy over Davis? Better answer than Loy showed us what we wanted to see in practice.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that could be going on there with this decision. He can't burn a red shirt.
Right.
He can't burn a red shirt between now and the end of the year, so conventional wisdom might suggest that you get him some reps, or like with second team at least. But who knows? I hate this statement, but this might just be a trust the coach kind of thing. I don't understand it. Loy is not your future.
No.
So
Can't be.
yeah, so investing in him is just to me is futile unless there's some other reason unbeknownst to us, which there might be, that they're not moving forward with him kind of acting as the backup at least. So I think he's still got to put on a jersey. I mean, he mentioned Trey Lindsey, and I'm just like, any of these guys who aren't seriously in contention to win the job next year, like, listen, he's gonna have to. We'll see.
But he talked about this in fall camp. He said he wanted to see guys practice a certain way, and I think if you come in, you change your culture, and you say, "Hey, listen, I know that everything you believe says that you have no chance of getting on the field. I'm telling you, Scott C. There he goes.
Hey, Scott.
You know what to do, Scott.
Business at the War Rapport. Business at the War Rapport. Email us your address, sir, so we can get that right out to you.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Anyway, continue, Be Will.
But I think it's more about keeping your word as a coach to the guys that most teams would say, you don't have a chance, man. Go find somewhere that wants to play you. I'm sorry. But he said, listen, you're going to be here. I'm going to give you a good look. So if Grant Lloyd did everything he said to do in spring and fall, he gave Grant Lloyd reps. If Grant Lloyd, I'm guessing, is going to practice, doing what's asked of him to do, said, hey, I mean, I don't know how Grant Lloyd felt with TJ just jumping him. Now granted, Grant Lloyd has not been a good football player from what we've seen. And I'm trying to say that as nicely as possible.
I'm not saying nothing.
So maybe he shouldn't be expecting much
best,
of anything, right? But I think there's value in a coach saying, hey, here's what I want to see. Here's what you're going to get if you do what I want to see. And they do it, and you give them a shot. You bump them up. Trey Lindsey's name being spoken as part of the rotation at all, to me, that is my mind is blown.
I'm with you on this, B, and I'll just say this, and I won't say any more about this because this subject makes me upset. Right? Like we can't have another Malik Willis.
Oh, that would hurt.
We can't have another guy leave the program and then now they're talking about him being a first-round draft pick in the NFL draft.
Right.
Like, those are the guys you keep on the roster and you find a way to use them.
Malik Willis is not an anomaly in college football, though. So let's not act as if Auburn's the only person who has people leave and then all of a sudden they're great football players.
With our history at picking quarterbacks, I don't think this coach. That's just not a good look for him. You have a guy who's in your system now. You didn't recruit him, but he holds all these Texas high school records at the highest level of Texas high school football. He's got an arm. He's done some things. And for him to leave here without getting a look in a game and then go someplace else and be successful, I'll tell you, if that happens, then the guy you do pick better do well.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way that works out is if the guy that you pick, he's also being talked up as a pro prospect as well. That's how you get over that, but that has not been the case at Auburn.
It's been the opposite.
And so we don't want to your point, we don't want a repeat of that. Corey Weber is throwing some hints out here at us. He went ahead and just hit business at the War Rapport. He wants his reward at all costs.
We're going to send you a wood thing that says Virginia double dribbled. Like, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make something especially for you, Corey.
Just for you, Corey. Just for you.
Yes,
just for
they
you.
did. They did. They double dribbled.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a double. That looks like no one dribbles like that unless they're double dribbling. All right.
It still hurts.
So, let's get into it. Let's
Taylor was correcting what the email address should be.
It's
he going into War Rapport.
That's funny.
Hilarious. So, Coach, we do a little thing we like to do towards the end, where our team wins if. We do this before we do predictions. So, for you, South Carolina wins if.
If they can run the football. The offensive line steps up like they did against Florida. And they had South Carolina rush for over about 300 yards in that game. They had 200-yard rushers. But if South Carolina, the offensive line, comes to play and they win their one-on-one battles, then South Carolina wins.
Okay.
Be Will. Auburn wins if.
I think Auburn wins if 21 points. I think that's all it takes.
Oh,
if we score 21 points or more, I think Auburn wins.
Interesting.
Okay. Ike, Auburn wins if.
Listen, to me, it is all going to depend on this rushing attack. We've got to go over 150 yards rushing, in my opinion, in this game. Do that, you keep TJ Finley in the ability to get into some play action situations and hopefully some wide open guys downfield. So 250. 150. Got to see it. 250 is a blowout. But yeah, you got to at least get 150 yards rushing.
Mike G.
Yeah, I'm actually the opposite. I just think the teams have proven they can stop our rush attack and not some of the not so good teams in this league. So I'm going Auburn wins if 202 TDs from TJ Finley. I think that's enough to keep them off our running backs so that they can get loose. But it just seems like that's the flow of this offense this year is the pass has to make room for the run, and teams traditionally do it the other way around. We just don't have the big uglies up front to be able to play smash mouth like that.
Right.
It's just we haven't done it, and we're at the end of the season, so I don't expect to see it now.
Yeah, I'm with you. Auburn has to be efficient in the passing game. I don't want to see us going 20, 21 or 40. You know what I mean? I want to see us really efficient in the passing game, completing short passes, and holding South Carolina to under 120, under 100. We stopped them from running the ball, basically. We stopped them from running the ball, and we're good through the air. I like our chances.
They ran for 284 on Florida. 284 yards.
How much
on
did Sanford
Florida.
run for?
On 24, on 42 attempts. I'm just saying.
I don't
Wave your hand if you ran. Wave your hand if you scored on Florida. Just like it's just,
6.8 yards per rush, right? Like so. I mean, oh man.
I don't want to take anything away from South Carolina for winning that game because you still got to line up and win that game. But
Exactly.
once
For sure.
Florida gave up 56 points against an FCS team, I think Florida comparisons that we thought might be accurate all throughout the season, they went out the window. I don't think a win against Florida means anything anymore.
at this point.
Looking
At
at you,
this
Bama.
point. At this
Unless
point.
you're South Carolina. Listen, South Carolina enjoy their win. Like y'all had
They
a
should,
great
because they didn't just beat
enjoy
them,
that
they
win.
beat them
A win's a
handily.
win, right?
They beat them handily.
Nah,
they
beat
blew
the
them
brakes
out.
off of them. Yeah.
They
I
it was
did
a-
not see that coming. Did not because the
Yeah,
previous
I don't
game.
think anybody on this show picked that.
Listen,
The
no
game
thing-
with Texas A&M was the worst I'd ever seen South Carolina play in over 50 years of watching the Gamecocks.
Oh, wow.
They were embarrassing. It was an embarrassment. And for them to have come back after that bye week, and what they did that bye week was the players had a players-only meeting, and Beamer stressed to them, you've got to win your one-on-one battles at every position, and that's what they did with Florida. And that's what they're kind of looking at now as a rallying cry. Each player has got to man up and win their one-on-one battle if we're going to have a chance to win.
Yeah,
I think that game also gave
you
them
know,
confidence too.
What a
I
roller
don't
coaster for
I don't know
Florida,
what
though.
happened to those guys because they were such stout run defenders at Auburn, right?
Yeah, a lot of people just couldn't stand
Yeah.
to have people who were here wearing these colors leave. It hurt their feelings. Listen, man, every guy who's here isn't great. All right, it's okay. And more to the point, they didn't want to be here anymore. So we let them go. And we have had a better run defense because of it.
Jazzy Joe. All right. Every passing TD equals $25. Okay. All right. Every kick over 30 yards is also $25.
Over 30?
Lord.
Okay.
Why you putting all
A
this
win
pressure on
is
these kickers?
I know.
32 is over 30. That's not like it's got to be a 70-yard kick or something.
Sure.
man,
A win is
Andrews was-
$25. The
Andrews
back
was
of
Struggling
not
before he
playing
got
this
hurt,
game.
so yeah.
Andrew's not playing this game.
I know. I'm just saying that over 30 isn't a gimme like we thought it was once upon a time. So that's not terrible.
We'll see.
There's no gimmies. You got to make them all.
All
but I'm just
right.
saying.
The extra points are gimmies, right?
We missed the very first one of the season. The first one. Yes.
Yes. We did. That happened.
Yeah, Coach, I'll tell you, there's a scenario. A lot of fans don't want to buy it, but there's a scenario in which Auburn doesn't win this game, right? And when I'm looking at
Scenario
South
don't win.
Carolina, right? Like I'm looking at a team because you know that Florida has been kind of like whatever. I mean, they came 2 points from beating Bama, and then got run off the field by South Carolina. And I am in my head just thinking. Now I've looked from statistically, there should be no way South Carolina could win this game if their averages hold, right? But I just want to get one more comment from you on where this team was when they started the season and where they're at now. How do you feel this team has progressed from game one to where we are?
I think their defense has really gotten better. And last year, their defense couldn't stop my grandma. I mean, they were that bad. They gave up. I think they had a 3-game stretch. They gave up over 55 points a game during that stretch there, though. The offense still concerns me up front with the consistency. We're seeing blown assignments on the offensive line and stuff right there. But like I said, most people would if you had offered South Carolina and 4 wins, would have taken it this year. But they've pretty much done what they're supposed to do. They've beaten the weaker teams they're supposed to beat. They did pull off, a good win against Florida right there, though. And nobody realistically gave them a chance to go to a bowl. And, I think their best opportunity of getting that 6th win may not be this week, but next week. That South Carolina fans can't wait to get Clemson coming to Willie B. And Clemson is worried about that, though, and would love to see how many people Dawe screams at that night and grabs his players and yells at them and hollers and chases them up and down the field and all. But that would be an interesting night right there, though. So this team, I think, is a little bit ahead of where people actually thought they'd be.
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach. I will be pulling hard for South Carolina in that game, not only because they're SEC, but because Shane Beamer is nice to his media people.
He is, and I was glad to hear him say that, yesterday the Virginia Tech job came open. And, of course, immediately they talked about him going back, that he grew up there. He went to high school there. He played at Virginia Tech and everything there to go back and fill in, where his father was. But he basically came out and said, those are all great things, but he said, I love South Carolina. He said, it's my dream job. He said, I didn't say that just to be on a poster or anything catchy thing on my first press conference thing. But he was born in South Carolina when his father was assistant coach down at the Citadel. So he loves South Carolina. He loves the people of South Carolina. His family loves it. And like I said earlier, the players love him and his staff, and they've bought into what he's doing. Let him get a couple of classes in there, and I think South Carolina can become a contender or be up the top of the East Division before long.
Listen, somebody got to take it because
That's
nobody
right.
else seems to want it besides Georgia.
Yep.
Yeah.
And back when Spurrier was here, we owned Georgia.
Yeah.
That we were up there. We had 3 straight 11-win seasons during that stretch, and then Spurrier's recruiting, that he got lax and the talent level ran out. And Muschamp kind of brought him in, but he did not win over the fans and a lot of stuff. So Beamer stepped into a very, very tough situation, and I think that he's handled it with class and got the program moving in the right direction. Would love to see him make it to a bowl in his first year and all, but it would be sweet to beat Clemson to get that bowl bid right there, though, at Willie B. at Williams-Brice Stadium.
Yeah. I want that win for you guys. I want Dawe to get run out of town, not for any personal reason. He didn't do anything to me, but it's when you got somebody successful like that and they're used to winning, and their fan base is, I know they're obnoxious because we know what it's like being in the state with a fan base who thinks they deserve to win every time they step on the field. But to see them struggle this year, they don't have the excuse that a lot of people have. They didn't have this exodus of talent the last couple of years. They've been bringing in the classes. Every time we were in a recruiting battle with Clemson, we lost it. So you know what? What's the reason, Dawe? What's the reason? I would love for this season to end with South Carolina, the fortunes being turned around by Beamer, who's got really the morale up. knocking down Dawe just a peg. I would like that almost as much as Jimbo Fisher losing yet another game this year. I would like that.
Yeah,
Well, it's interesting what you were saying too with Dawe and his response. Dawe has basically thrown his team under the bus and said that they're immature, the players are immature and all. But being a former coach, my explanation of that is a team or your players are a reflection of your coach. So don't be calling your players immature. Just look at the head.
Dawe Swinney would throw somebody under the bus. I
Oh,
would have never
yeah.
guessed that.
But that's
His,
kind of
his
interesting.
demeanor
there.
does not scream that at all. Can you notice the sarcasm
Right.
in my voice?
yeah. I'll tell you what, if South Carolina can get bowl eligible, there's a chance that the SEC might have 11 bowl teams this season.
That's wild.
That would be great.
11
Wait, has
bowl
Missouri
teams.
won 5?
They're 5
5
and
and
5.
5.
Yeah, they got 5 now.
Florida's 5-5. Missouri's 5-5.
South
Tennessee.
Carolina's 5-5.
Tennessee's 5 and 5.
Poor Vandy ain't going nowhere anytime soon.
Right?
Florida might not, man.
So essentially, you have six
Yeah, they might not.
6 of the 7 teams in the SEC West are already bowl eligible.
Who's
right?
not?
And
Wow.
then Vanderbilt. I mean, sorry, LSU. LSU's not bowl eligible.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
They're
and then
what? What is
they're
LSU?
4 and 6.
4
right.
and 6.
And then you
Oof.
have Georgia, who's clinched. Kentucky, who's clinched. So that's 8. That's 8 teams already. Tennessee, I think we're assuming will get bowl eligible this week.
They got Vandy still left, so yeah,
yeah,
they'll
right.
get eligible.
Yeah,
So-
they'll definitely be bowl eligible.
So that would be 9. And then Missouri and South Carolina could be 10 and 11. And Florida still has a shot. They win one more game. They're bowl eligible.
They got Florida State that last game, and that
Yeah.
made that'd be 2 bad teams playing. That'd be interesting.
That might be a record. 12 bowl eligible teams.
Yes, that
I
would
think
be
that
good.
a record. So I'd be interested to see if that happens.
yeah. Well, listen.
To these predictions.
Let's see what happens this weekend with Auburn versus South Carolina. I am going to go.
Coach, you don't have to give a score if you don't want to. It's completely up to you, but we're going to give score predictions right here.
Okay, all right. I can do scores too.
Yeah, my man.
There it is. You
I'm
starting it
gonna
off, C?
go, yeah, I'm going to go Auburn 24, South Carolina 13. Auburn 24, South Carolina 13. Coach, what you got?
I'm going Auburn 31, South Carolina 21.
Reasonable
Okay.
man. A reasonable man.
Be Will?
I'm going to say Auburn 26, South Carolina 16.
Okay. All right.
I think I'm going to go 27-13 Auburn.
Okay. Mike G, who's concerned. What's your pick?
Yeah, listen, I'm concerned.
Of course.
I'm concerned.
No.
But this week is the week to prove that your pride matters to you. You got to go out there and you got to play, man. This season's not over. They can prove something, to the fan base, to the coaches, to themselves by going out there and having a solid game. In a game that you're expected to win. So, the history of our school, Coach, I mean, it's just as a fan, being an Auburn fan is you need heart attack medication every week to watch. When we're expected to win, we don't. And when we're not, we do. And it has been trying to get to a place where stability is something that we can expect from week to week has been difficult because we haven't seen it, right? We have become so accustomed to miracles that nobody knows what sustained success looks like. In year one, it didn't turn out how we hoped, but this is the chance to lay a foundation for sustained success. Go out there and play like your hair's on fire, man. Play like this game matters. Roger McCreary was asked about the breakdown defensively in the second half, and he just says, we weren't focused. And in my mind, I'm like, what the hell? You weren't focused? You were playing for the SEC West. How could you not be focused? Get focused this weekend, right? I don't care who the opponent has to be nameless and faceless. It just doesn't matter anymore. Beat the guy you're lining up against. So it doesn't matter if it's South Carolina or Alabama or Kentucky or whoever. But you went out there and you an epic collapse last week. What's it going to take to get focused? It shouldn't take that. So I want to see some focus out here. I honestly think the change that we have may bring some of that focus. Who knows? Right? They seem really behind TJ Finley. I hope they rally behind him. Harsin said in his presser, it's not just on TJ Finley. The people around him who have had in-game reps have to raise their game. They have to. So 2 TDs for Finley, 2 TDs on the ground, Auburn 28, South Carolina 13.
Okay.
That's what it needs to be.
That's what it needs to be.
That's what it needs to be.
Coach, you got anything else you want to add, man? We appreciate you joining us, man. It's been fun talking South Carolina with you.
Tell the people where they can find what you got going on.
Okay, you can go that we do a lot of our shows are on the YouTube channel on Cox Sports Broadcasting YouTube channel or our website. It's www.coxsportsbroadcasting.com though. But I have enjoyed every minute of and feel honored to have been on with you guys tonight. That I pull for Auburn. When they're not playing South Carolina, in a lot of cases there, one of the all-time Auburn greats was an alumni from the high school that I played at, Stephen Davis, a flash from the past at the running back down there, though. So I've got a very good friend of mine who played basketball at Auburn, an older gentleman there, and all. So I know how much he loves Auburn, so he's kind of brought me into following Auburn, though. So I always keep an eye on what you guys are doing down there.
Well, we appreciate you, man. Thanks again for joining and talking with us for a little while. Mike G, you got any announcements you want to leave us with?
Yeah, listen, we tell you guys all the time, become an insider, $5.99. We're going to break down what happened, Auburn versus South Carolina. Every Monday night we do our Watch the Film review where we talk about what happened. So you don't want to miss that. Hopefully it will be talking about something positive. And for our insiders, we're giving away tickets to the Iron Bowl. So you can go to this game on the War Rapport this year. By just becoming an insider, that's all it takes to enter this raffle. We'll announce the winner here soon. Congratulations to our raffle winner tonight. Guys, we support the Lee County Humane Society. You know the drill. The link is in the About section of our YouTube channel. Help us help them. Donate today. Shout out to our sponsor, BUSR. They're our betting sponsor. BUSR.com/rapport. Just signing up for an account definitely helps us, so we appreciate everybody who goes and does that. Our merch store is live. Get your War Rapport merch. That link is in the About section of our YouTube channel, and our podcast is also live as well, so I appreciate everybody who goes and listens to us on podcasts. Those downloads definitely help our content quite a bit.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Guys, we want to thank you for hanging out with us. Got some content coming on later this week. Of course, guys, you know we've been dropping player interviews after games, whether it's been football, basketball. So, guys, we have content all week long, so stay tuned for that. If you're watching live or if you're watching on replay, you know what to do. Please be sure to share this video on Facebook, Twitter, social media. Use hashtag #GetYourWeight Help people find us and help us grow this community. Also, guys, get the thumbs up, like this video, and if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Also, you can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and IG at The War Rapport, and we are TW Rapport on TikTok. That's it for now, guys, but more on the way. We'll definitely see you guys 5:30 Central Time for the pregame show. Also, we're going to do our whole pregame or our whole game day experience on Saturday. So that's going to be fun. We'll see you guys then. But until then, have a great rest of your week. And as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.